In the heart of Singapore, hidden deep in a dense bush in Changi, there's a scary old building called the Old Changi Hospital. This place has been abandoned for a long time and has a creepy history. It's a place where strange things happen, and people say that World War II prisoners' ghosts haunt its rooms. From 1942 to 1945, this hospital fell into the hands of the Japanese and was turned into a prison for about 50,000 prisoners during World War II. During that time, Old Changi became a place where many people were brutally tortured. One night, a group of brave people decided to explore the Old Changi Hospital. They were a mix of people who believed in ghosts and those who didn't. They had flashlights and were ready to face whatever they found inside. Walking through the hospital, they felt like something was watching them. They heard faint voices, like whispers from the walls, telling stories of pain and suffering. The group leader, Mark, thought it was just their imagination. But as they went deeper into the hospital, they saw something terrifying. They opened a heavy door to a room that had a weird, eerie light. Inside, they saw ghostly figures lying on cold metal tables. These figures were former prisoners who looked like they were in pain and scared. The group got scared and ran out of that room. But the hospital wasn't done with them. The whispers got louder, making fun of them and promising something terrible. They tried to find a way out, but it felt like the hospital was changing around them, and they couldn't escape. One by one, the group members got separated, and each had their own scary experiences. Mark's girlfriend, Sarah, found herself in a room with ghostly prisoners reaching out to her. Tim was chased by a shadow that never stopped. The shadow told him to leave because it was dangerous. As the night got darker, Mark ended up alone in a room that looked like an operating room. It was filled with a bloody light, and the whispers became loud. Mark couldn't ignore the scary things happening anymore. He let out a scream, then collapsed on the floor, leaving only the echo of his scream behind. Even now, the Old Changi Hospital is a place that scares people. If you go inside, you might hear whispers, feel cold hands touching you, and see the ghosts of former prisoners who can't find peace. The curse of the Old Changi Hospital still lingers, reminding us of the scary things that happened there long ago. In 1901, in the darkness and eeriness of Taunton Psychiatric Hospital, Jane Taunton, a nurse with a fresh appearance, conceals a dark soul behind her outer beauty. She hides a particular pleasure, the happiness that comes from witnessing the death of a patient. Taunton is the mental place of suffering and abandonment, and the mysterious organization where people create pain and end in death. The mysterious doctors and nurses in the hospital have become gods of brutality and ghosts. Jane Taunton quickly found particular pleasure in watching patients die before her eyes. She stood there motionless and crawled onto the victim's bed, hugging them tightly and feeling every last convulsion of their lives. She waited until the spirit left and then laughed secretly in the darkness. She committed several brutal murders in the hospital, and no one knew what happened. It seemed like she was the only one who was cruel, but the reality was much more brutal. Some doctors here even use patients' bodies as sacrifices and rituals related to Satan. The place where these mysterious rituals are performed is the basement of the hospital, a dark and haunting place. Eerie shadows crawled across the walls, and incomprehensible spells echoed in the darkness. In 1920, 3 curious people named Emma, William, and Hannah ventured into Taunton Mental Hospital to learn strange stories about this place. They have heard many legends about the pain and mystery at this hospital and want to find out the truth behind its dramatic night. When they entered the main door of the hospital, dim lights flashed, and they felt the heaviness of the space. The door swung open behind them, and they found themselves surrounded by the silence of the abandoned hospital. They entered the first hallway and began their hunt. They heard a strange moan in an abandoned room, like someone calling for help. Their lights dimmed suddenly, and they felt weird sensations like someone was touching them. Emma found herself drawn into the room of the woman in the white dress, the woman standing in the middle of the room crying pitifully. However, when Emma looked closer, she realized the woman was missing a wrist, and blood was gushing from the painful cut. She reached out, put her hand on Emma's shoulder with a pleading look, and cried, "Someone save me." Emma was frightened and helpless, not knowing what to do to help. William is on the run from an eerie darkness. That darkness is an embodiment of the brutality and ghost of the hospital. It slipped through the shadow and emerged from the dark depths, always following William, never stopping. The green light glowed as it appeared, and a terrifying groan enveloped William. He broke into a cold sweat and tried to find a way out of its insignificant pursuit. Hannah is drawn into a strange world where bizarre events take place. She stood in the middle of an empty room with a ball rolling back and forth. A boy stood beside the ball and tried to throw it at Hannah as if he wanted to play with her. Sarah didn't know if the child was a spirit or an embodiment of ghosts, but she felt a chill and haunting sensation from its appearance. They tried to find a way to meet again and escape from Taunton Psychiatric Hospital, but there is no way out. Their journey will lead them to the horror and mystery of this hospital, and it may cost them indescribable loss and pain. When you think of Japan, you probably immediately think of modern cities, bustling metropolises, and the beautiful scenery of Mount Fuji. However, few people know about another part of Japan, Fujiku Ghost Hospital, a strange place at the foot of Mount Fuji. During our expedition to Mount Fuji, we decided to take on a new challenge at Fujiku Hospital, once Japan's largest and most modern hospital. Fujiku had attracted some of the country's top doctors who conducted groundbreaking research and treated patients. But this hospital's dark history sent shockwaves throughout the land of the rising sun. Hidden in a secret room, people discovered a series of wooden crates containing corpses. Rumors had it that the hospital director and several doctors were involved in an illegal organ trafficking ring, profiting from selling patients' organs. After these unfortunate victims had their organs removed, their bodies were discarded and packed into large wooden crates to avoid detection. This chilling tale led many to believe that the souls of those unjustly murdered still lingered around the hospital. Driven by our shared curiosity for the unknown, my friend Yuki and I embarked on a chilling expedition to Fujiku Hospital, with our friend Hiroko serving as our guide. As we ventured deeper into the heart of this haunted facility, the atmosphere grew increasingly ominous. On our first day, Yuki and I felt an uncanny presence in an old room. It was as if we were being watched, even though no one was in sight. Despite her familiarity with the place, Hiroko couldn't shake the feeling of unease. She claimed to hear whispers and distant cries, which sent shivers down our spines. As night descended, we encountered the evil spirits that haunted the hospital. Shadowy figures materialized and snuffed out the light around us. The temperature dropped drastically, sending bone-chilling shivers through our bodies. In one pitch-black room, we spotted a young woman standing in the center, her wrists dripping with blood. She pleaded for help, terror in her eyes. Yuki and I, compelled to assist, cautiously moved closer, but the woman vanished, leaving behind only the lingering stench of blood. Our expedition took a horrifying turn as we realized that Fujiku Ghost Hospital hungered for more souls to add to its cursed collection. The restless spirits were determined to trap the living within their realm forever. As we battled to survive the relentless hauntings and apparitions, we understood that Fujiku Hospital's dark history was far from a mere legend. The evil energy within those walls sought revenge and would not rest until it claimed more souls to join the nightmarish chorus that echoed through its forsaken halls.